Can you hear me now? You guys good? Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear before I keep going. Let me know. Let me know. Um, okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So my name is Khalil Thomas. You guys, we are in the Phlebotomy Secrets podcast. I got Sincere on the other line right here, and he's going to actually give an introduction to himself. He's going to talk about his experience in the phlebotomy industry so that you can learn tips, tricks, and everything for your mobile phlebotomy business. So let's dive in. I gotta say, I just love that introduction, you guys. And
Yes.
look, we have Sincere in the building. How are you, Sincere?
I'm doing well. I'm doing great. Am I clear? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Loud and clear, brother. Loud and clear. I didn't even realize that I was talking and you guys can't hear me. I'd be all excited just talking. You guys like, hey, I can't hear you. I'm like, okay, sorry about that. But I'm so glad
Yeah.
you guys are able to, let me know that stuff.
Okay. I just want to ask real quick. Are you just going live on like one particular like streaming platform, or are you going live on
Dude,
your
we're on so many different platforms. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on
Okay.
Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on the phlebotomy groups on Facebook. Listen, we're everywhere right now.
Okay.
And whoever's watching this, if you don't mind, dropping your names in the chat so that I know who's all in here. Give you guys a shout out.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Because I'm also streaming on different platforms too, but I got like different like camera set up for different platforms. If there was a particular link where it could all sync in into one platform, I would drop that link. But it's all good. We're all here. So
yeah, yeah. So what I'll do is here, I'll make this so that hey Krishana, what's going on? Hey Shanika, happy birthday. Shout out to Shanika. It's her birthday, you
shout
guys.
out to
Hey,
Shanika.
Laquania, how are you? We
Yes.
got the people in here. We got the people in the groups in here. Okay, okay. We're gonna have a really, really nice interview with Sincere today. I have some questions to ask him, just so that you guys can get acquainted with Sincere, his business. You guys can ask some live questions, and of course, just make sure you guys leave those questions in the chats. Hey, Candace, what's going on? Yeah, make sure you guys give her a happy birthday. It's Shanika's
Uh,
birthday. She's awesome.
my Toya just said that she just gained 5 new accounts. So she said she want thank you. I believe that she's ready.
Congratulations. Wait, who's that?
Montoya Noel.
Okay, hey twin, what's going on? Happy congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty awesome. So yeah, we're gonna dive into this just so that we can like kind of get to know who you are. So I got some icebreaker questions, just so that people can know who Sincere is before we even tap into the phlebotomy industry. Okay. So ready to get started, Sincere?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Let's go. So can you share a little bit about your background and what led you to the decision to start your own mobile phlebotomy business?
Okay, so a little bit about my background. Of course, my name is Sincere Delgado. I'm originally from Hartford, Connecticut. I was raised back and forth between Hartford and New Britain, Connecticut. Afro-Latino man. My mother is Puerto Rican from Puerto Rico, and my father is an African-American man. And so I come from a very diverse background. Now, what led me to the decision of pursuing mobile phlebotomy as independent was that I was already in the medical field as a PCA. I used to work inside nursing homes and stuff like that. But just looking forward, I always ask myself, what is it that I can do in the medical field that pertains to ownership? And I was also had different side hustles. I was in the music business while I was doing PCA. So um,
Mm.
the music industry, even though it was my original dream, it wasn't really working out. So what I did was I did a little bit of research, found out about mobile phlebotomy. I ended up getting certified in 2019, and I already had like a little plan as far as how I wanted to go about it. And my first idea was to, of course, get the experience. So I started
Hmm.
off as a mobile phlebotomist working for Trident Care, and all of the patients that I used to service were geriatric patients. So I started off doing the worst kind of things that you can think of, that roll,
Mm.
shot, that are dehydrated patients, patients that move, and so once I started working at Trident Care, I wanted to go even further. So I started working for different companies like Quest Diagnostics, Hartford
Hmm.
Hospital. But by that time, because I started off with geriatrics, I'm like, this is a piece of cake over here because I was
Hmm.
went from doing geriatrics to doing all ages. So,
Hmm.
um, there was from Quest and Hartford Hospital, it was more younger patients, and then from there I moved on to UConn, started working for the state,
Okay.
and eventually I went independent.
Nice. Okay. So you just went around different industries, different types of fields, got different types of experiences from different places, and then came up and said, "Hey, I might as well start my own." You know what I mean? So
Yes,
it sounds like that's awesome. That's awesome. I feel like that's probably like the best way to get the experience is by going to different types of fields within the medical industry, and then you
yes,
figure out what exactly you like. Like I did home health aide, CNA, patient care tech, lab court, and I was like, let me just start my own business. So that's pretty
yes,
cool, man. That's awesome.
yes.
So, what was the most surprising or unexpected thing you discovered about yourself during the process of building your business? How about that?
Repeat that again one last time.
Yeah, no problem. What was the most surprising or unexpected thing you discovered about yourself during the process of building your business?
Um, yes. So I guess there was a particular time. It was actually pretty recent as well, where I unintentionally where I guess I was forced to do it completely 100% independent, is
Mm,
because my whole plan was to gradually leave the 9 to 5 uh, hamster wheel. You know what I mean?
mm,
Gradually leave and build my business at the same time. But due to certain circumstances, it put me in a position to where um, I couldn't get hired anywhere else because for whatever reason, you have Hartford Healthcare and you have Trinity Healthcare, two major corporations that own everything in Connecticut. So, as far as me working for them, that was no longer a possibility. And also, uh, the companies that were hiring phlebotomists, I took a look at their salary and I wasn't really too pleased with it because with the business that I was developing and growing, I was accustomed to making a certain amount of money.
mm,
But this particular time, I was struggling with clients. I was struggling with clients. The clients wasn't coming. Nobody wanted to hire me, and the jobs that were offering money, it was garbage. You know what I'm saying? It was
mhm.
a salary I wasn't accustomed to. So here
Right.
I am. Here I am. I'm stuck. Bills are due, and I was like, yo, I don't know what to do because my clients aren't coming. Nobody's going to hire me, and these other jobs are not paying me what I want. So what do I do? So I had to come up with a plan, a strategy on how I was going to increase my my clientele, and I said I either have to expand my reach or I'm going to
Mm,
have to um, uh, 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 increase my pricing in some way, in some fashion, but it'll have to be strategized in a way.
mhm,
So basically, being all out of options, I had to use this and I had to use what I had, which was my business. So basically, all I did was real simple. I called up on my lab partners. I told them, "Hey, listen, I'm willing to take on a 150-mile radius, and so me being in Connecticut, 150-mile radius covers New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire. And with
mm,
that decision, and by calling all my lab partners, I was able to get more clientele. I was able to get the clientele in more further distance. So and I charge for mileage too. So I was able to increase my pricing and also do the mileage, gas, etc. And before you know it, I was able to get myself back on my feet and get my bills paid. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
the hardest thing I ever had to do is as far as pertaining to my business.
Yeah, man. I feel like a lot of us get into that state when we first start. It's like a really slow traction because we don't know what to do. We don't know what direction to go to. We don't know when the next patient is going to come, and they come out of nowhere sometimes when we least expect it. when they come to us least expected, we have to be, ready to take it because we're looking for an opportunity. But just imagine if you were to do that marketing, just imagine if you were to do that branding, how many people would come to you consistently. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of the
Yes.
times we wait for opportunities to come in this business because a lot of people don't know how to market phlebotomy services, phlebotomy businesses, phlebotomy products. It's almost like all people were saying is that, hey, we offer blood work services, but that's so broad to the point where you don't know what person needs blood work for what. You know what I mean? Because you're saying that you need blood work or we offer blood work services to patients. That's not enough for a person to say, hey, I need that service, or hey, I want him to utilize, or I want to utilize that person's service because of that. No, we need to make it specifically niche, meaning a disease, meaning a specific chronic disease that a person may be going through. And those are our population people so that we can start to market to them so that they can come to us consistently. Because again, starting a business is hard. It takes a lot of willpower, it takes a lot of personality, and it takes a lot of courage to do it, but
Right.
just because we started doesn't mean patients are going to come to us like that. We now need to be the face, the voice, and the educators to our patients. So now that we're educating our patients, but we're also educating doctors too, because now they're going to see that we're targeting their population. Because again, every doctor has a specific specialty that they focus on, a specific population. Now, if we're targeting thyroid patients and we're talking to thyroid patients all over the internet, whatever, we're going to have a thyroid doctor that says, hey, I have thyroid patients too. How can we work together? How can you get these patients drawn? How can you service my patients? Because we're specifically focusing on that specific disease, not the person, not the geriatrics or the pediatric, but the disease. And if you guys go on Google after this phone call or this Zoom or this live or this podcast, you're able to now see how many people in my area or city has, thyroid disease, thyroid problems. And now we can be the phlebotomy business to be the bridge to catch these numbers, to catch these ranges of how much thyroid is in their body. But we know that by blood tests. But we need to market that service. We need to talk about that service. We need to be experts in that service for people to take the opportunity on wanting to ask questions, and then they turn into hot leads, meaning they'll be more susceptible to pay our services. Period.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like it is hard for a lot of us because we're so used to sticking and we're not used to the business world of phlebotomy. But once we are actually in it, we figure out creative ways to actually begin to get profit. So I love that you were able to, connect with your lab, personnel and, partner with him for his specimen. So that's awesome, man.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
So if you can offer one piece of advice to someone starting a mobile phlebotomy business, what would it be, Sincere?
Um, if I had to give one piece of advice, definitely know the business of what you do. I think a lot of times people tend to want to get into something without actually doing like their due diligence, and they just kind of see like the glimmer and glitz and the tip of the iceberg, but never not really the depths of what the business entails. So you
Mm-hmm.
should have a proper understanding of what is it that you do. And I just know what I do. Of course, I'm always looking to expand on what I do. But if I had to give a simple, brief statement about what is it that I do, we're a specimen collection company that's responsible for the collection of patients, whether via blood work, whether it's DNA samples, whether it's paternity testing, gender reveal testing, COVID-19 PCR testings with swabs. We're a collection company. As far as us diagnosing and reading blood test results, that's not necessarily what we do. Although it's a plus, but by far we tend to lead certain responsibilities for certain healthcare professionals. We know that the doctors are the ones who diagnose and read lab test results, and also who does the blood analysis in these laboratories. But they can't do what they do without us. So you have to know exactly what your value is worth, and also proper pricing of uh, of providing the services that you provide. Because there's too many phlebotomists, independent mobile phlebotomists that's out here that's charging way lower than what they're getting or what they're supposed to be getting. And it hurts individuals like myself or somebody else who has the proper knowledge of how much the value
Mm.
of what we service. We should be getting a lot more. And trust me, once we all collectively find out exactly how much of what we have to offer is worth, other companies that try to use this as a third party are not going to have no choice but to submit to what we do because they can't do their jobs
Mm.
with
Well,
our job.
that's
So,
that's very true. I like that. I like that statement, man. 100, 100. You
yeah,
guys like what Sincere just said? Listen, companies are going to come to us, and we're going to be cutting these middlemans out. That's what it's all about.
yeah,
That's what
because
we want to do. We want to
these
go directly to the source. No more middlemen, no more third party vendors. If you want the job done, come to me directly. So that's awesome that you have that mindset. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna ask you one more question, personal question, and then we're gonna get into the phlebotomy questions. Those are the fun questions I like. So is there a particular accomplishment or milestone in your business journey that you are especially proud of?
the one that I was explaining to you just previously moments ago, how the fact that I was kind of like down and out, and certain clients was coming to me at the time where I needed the most, and I had to figure it out exactly on what to do, and that was by expanding my patient service area and also having a better understanding of what the value of my services were, and I was able to increase my pricing and be able to uh, get up off get back on my feet from being down, so to speak, when the company was
Yeah.
down. Um, Also, starting it is sometimes people underestimate starting. I
Mm,
of course we know um, starting may be the easy part in some people's eyes, but there's some people who are just afraid to even take the risk to get something started.
mm.
So you can't be afraid. Getting started and taking that first step is also very important. But also above all else is being able to get back on your feet after you have hit the ground. There's gonna be plenty of hits you take in business. It's all about how the way you bounce back.
Yeah, absolutely. It is all about bouncing back. And you take your L's and you turn them into W's, because you're going to get some no's. Some people are going to say, no, I don't want no content. I want you to record me. I don't want you to draw my blood. It's going to come. Some people just don't understand phlebotomy as a whole. We have to be the experts explaining them not only the procedure, but the job and the service that we offer to them too. So that's very important.
Yes.
I completely agree. Completely. And what's so funny? um, a lot of phlebotomy businesses that are starting with the price point that they aren't feeling comfortable with the price point. So they lowball themselves, but don't have any strategy, which gets me upset sometimes because you can lowball for certain patients, and especially if you're in the beginning stages of phlebotomy, because that's where the trust offer comes in. And this is some free gems for you guys that are listening right now. So when you first start your business, you have a trust offer. Trust offers are when you have your price at a low point so that you're getting more clientele by your content, by your reviews, by your testimonials. So even if that patient may be 30 miles away and they want to pay you maybe 30 bucks, I say just take it, especially if you're brand new, you're just starting. Again, we're wanting reviews and content so that we can flip it, because once we're able to get that content, we're able to keep it and have it in our portfolio for us to keep continuously promoting and marketing for our business. So if you're going to go low, make sure you have strategy, because you're going to have to go high eventually, but we need to build that portfolio up first. Okay. So there's some quick gems, because I think that's also important too, because there's going to be different tactics on people, or on how people generate revenue, or how people generate proof of concept and trust. Because in order for a person to even want to have a needle go through their arm or have a phlebotomist come through, they want to trust this person. So that's one of the big things we need to also come up with and really think about, is having that content to create the currency, because we now have proof of concept with our patients, with our testimonials, with our reviews. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So let's get to the phlebotomy question. Sincere, let's get to the phlebotomy question. So, my question to you is going to be this: how did you handle pricing and billing for your services, especially in a competitive market?
How did I handle it? Well, to what you were saying just like moments ago about about taking a certain price but knowing when to raise it eventually. That's exactly like the strategy that I use, but it was kind of like unintentional. I didn't have a plan of okay, I'm gonna start at this price, and then once I build my profile, I'm gonna start raising my prices. It wasn't like that. It was just me charging what I charge, which wasn't, I guess, enough. But then later on, having the proper knowledge of how much money that I should be charging for my services, and that's how the way I adjusted it. So as being an independent owner of the company that I own, we're a private company. So as a private company, you get to decide how much the service is worth, and and pricing is going to vary depending on who your market is and exactly where the patient is located. So if I have a client that's in a certain place that requires extra mileage, tolls, parking, all those things cost. So we're gonna have to come up with a price to uh, to recoup all the money that we spend while we're on the road to do this patient over here that has all this stuff, um, compared to somebody else who just needs you just need to go to the location and they already have a driving area, a parking area. We can just park it in the parking lot, draw their blood, and then you can just drop it off. So everything varies. Now there are partnerships that you can get into, a laboratory that may bill insurances. So um, depending on how the way you set up that deal with these laboratories, you draw blood work and you send it to that laboratory, and that laboratory cuts you a check. And how the way you decide to get paid from that, it all depends on how the way you negotiate with that laboratory, because they're the ones cutting you a check because they have to bill for the laboratory testing. But as far as in general, the specimen collection, you as a private company, you get it. You gotta you set up your own pricing, but you gotta make sure it makes sense. You gotta recoup all the money that you spend, starting from the time that you have to take to look up the orders, the time that you get in your car and you have to drive and spend gas. You have to spend gas. You also got to think about maintenance, oil changes, tires are not cheap. All those things have to be taken into consideration, and depending where you're going, there's tolls, there's parking, all that has to be recouped, and also providing the service. So it all depends about how the way you set up your business model.
Yeah, man. It's so important. And a lot of people want to jump into the insurance world. And if you're that person that wants to jump into insurance, comment the word insurance. I want to see who's all in here interested in insurance. I just want to know. Curious to know. Because over here in Houston, Texas, our jurisdiction is Novitas. Novitas is going to be part of the MAC jurisdiction for Medicare. And we get paid nothing almost. Like it's almost pennies. So who here wants to get insurance for their business? Comment insurance so I can just bring it to you so you guys can understand why you don't want it, or why or when you want to actually get it, or what's the best strategy to get insurance. Okay, comment insurance if you guys want to know that, because I'm going to give you some gems as well. Because again, Sincere is he's accepting insurance. Okay, and I know a lot of you guys and women, want to get insurance involved. You guys want to apply to Picos and pay your fee. That's trying to create the wheel, because again, you don't have a laboratory to run these tests, right? Because you are a phlebotomy business. Now this laboratory already has a laboratory that is doing the billing, that is doing the coding, that is doing the collection of the Medicare Plan B specimens. So why not partner with that laboratory that has everything already going for himself and just send over the specimens that they test for, so that you get paid for the volume that you send to them? That makes sense, you guys? Because
Yes,
that's all it is.
and I also want to make a statement. Um,
Yeah.
depending on the circumstances, like there was a particular time about a year and a half ago where I was able to show a check of one check that I made in 1 month. That was $8,000. That was $8,000. And the reason why that was is because how the way that deal came about was that the nursing home that I was able to come into agreement with, they already had an agreement with a local hospital that had the ability to do the test analysis on the specimens. They already had somebody, a courier, to come pick up the specimens to do the analysis from it. And because of that, I didn't need to have a laboratory on my end to do it, because the nursing home already had it. So my only responsibility was to do the collection part, leave the specimens inside the fridge, and then they'll call the courier from that local laboratory, they'll come pick it up and they'll do the processing from there. But so I was able to get direct pay for what I was doing, So, like I said, depending on what your situation is, on the circumstances, it is possible that you can get a nursing home contract doing private pay, and it is possible.
Yes.
But if you have a laboratory that's on your side, please make sure that you know what you're doing as far as negotiations, um, and make sure you have that laboratory responsible for paying you exactly what you're worth, and get an attorney, get a lawyer.
Yes, get an attorney. Speaking of that, did you ever encounter any legal hurdles at all for your mobile phlebotomy business? And if you did, how'd you steer through them?
Oh man,
Let's be honest. Let's just put it on the floor. Let's just put it all on the floor. You guys ready for this one?
Yeah. But it was nothing really too deep. I would just say that the first time I got into a contract with the laboratory. Um, I think it was within like the first year, maybe the first going into my second year of business. And I'm green, you know what I'm saying? I'm motivated, I'm inspired, I'm hyped, kind of naive, don't really know about too much about the business. All I know is that I was finally getting in contact with the laboratory that bills insurances, and that is what I needed in order to get the contracts that I needed to get. Now, the problem is that I didn't do my due diligence, and they sent over this long 25 page contract. I rushed into it, and I was doing certain things for the company that they were supposed to be doing for themselves, but I was working as the middleman to get them contracted with other healthcare facilities,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like the associate for the laboratory. So if anything was to happen to me, they can get rid of me and they'll still keep the contact for it. But thankfully, um, I wasn't able to get them any establishments and contracts with other healthcare facilities because it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. But until I started educating myself more about the business, I'm like, wait a minute, something is off here. They got me doing all of this when they have a marketing team, they have a whole entire department that could work on these certain tax, and they got me doing it. So I had to get an attorney. That's how I found out how I was getting played, and and once I found out what the issues I was having, we tried to negotiate with them, but they ended up finding out that they. Long story short, they didn't want to move forward, and that's because they actually had to pay me this time. Because
Right. Took advantage of you.
yeah, why am I getting you these contacts with all these nursing home these facilities where I'm located, and you guys are not doing anything when you have a whole department that handles marketing, and on top of that, what you guys are trying to pay me is not even worth it, So that's when I did my renegotiations. They looked into it, I guess, and they decided not to move forward, which is cool. I'm fine with that because at the end of the day, they're not going to make no money off of me.
Exactly.
So don't
Exactly.
try to play yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, let's just say if you sign up for the nursing home and you do 150 patients, and that's what your contract is for, so you have that specific number. Because I feel like there's a ratio for every 15 patients, have another phlebotomist. Because, excuse me, we can't depend on one person to draw 150 patients in one facility. So my ratio is for every 15 patients, one phlebotomist. So if it's 30 patients, two phlebotomists, and so forth. Now, if you have it to where the facility then gets 30 more patients out of nowhere, let's just say they have some more people that come in. Now that's time for a renegotiation. That's time for you to talk about your numbers and how they need to change, because now we have more patients and now my ratio may need to go up because I need more staff here for me to be compensating them. Okay. So I say that to say, if you do have a situation to where, you have more patients than what you negotiated, say something, speak up, because they will not say anything and they will take advantage of you and they won't care. Okay. Because if you're not, business savvy and you're watching these numbers, they will take advantage of you and they will continuously have more patients and you still get that same pay that you originally negotiated. But yeah, that's awesome.
And there's somebody said who couldn't really leave a comment. I guess they was watching the live stream. They couldn't leave a comment. I'm not sure why, but you know.
Oh, I don't think Instagram people can see. I don't think we can see the comments on Instagram. I think it's just on Facebook and YouTube. Extremely Blessed says hello. Thank you so much. Hey, Extremely Blessed.
Mhm.
Got another question for you, brother. We're almost done the interview. We're almost done. I just got a few more questions to ask you. Um, Building a client base can be challenging, right? What are your most effective methods for acquiring new clients and retaining them?
Okay, so I know the content game. So if you go on my Instagram and you see the some of the videos and commercials that I have pinned to my Instagram page, that's all content. So what I do really is I study other professional medical companies' content, and I guess I try to mimic, but at the same time switch it up as that pertains to what I do and educate them on what I do.
Absolutely.
Um, I really don't want to knock anybody else's method of trying to educate people, but I try to remain professional and as serious as possible so I can be taken seriously by other healthcare professionals.
Hmm.
Um, my TikTok is um, good, is not too silly. Um, I do kind of like reaction videos, and I also show them what the step-by-step process on what I do once I receive a lab order and how I draw the patients.
Hmm.
But as far as content creating, I try to do it professionally as possible, and then I come up with a plan as far as what are the type of clients that I'm looking for. It's all about knowing your clients. Who's the target? What is the age range? Who are the demographics? Where are they located? And once I make that whole list, I come up with a budget that I can afford, where I can spend my marketing dollars advertising to that demographic, to those patients, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And how the way I retain them is by developing a relationship with them. Not only am I somebody who providing a service with them, but I'm also offering a, a relationship by saying, for example, if you ever need my services again, I could offer a discount. Or if they choose to use my services a certain amount of times, I may offer a discount. Certain things like that. And from there, as you provide the service, you may talk with them, you may speak with them, ask them how their day is going, how you feeling, and you'd be surprised how these patients can open up to you. And then from there, certain conversations can spark up, and they'd be like, "Hey, I really like this guy. I really would like to have your services again. I want to refer you to other people." You give them your business card, and you say, "You know what? Because of your customer service and because that you are somebody who like to communicate, talk to, don't mind listening to what I have to say or how I feel, I could really use your services again and also refer you to other people." You know what I mean? So that's all that stuff plays. Customer service is a big thing.
So that's called. So for the people that don't know, that's called the law of diminishing marginal utility. I actually talked about a little bit of it on my Instagram on the stories. So what people do is, let's just say if you go to a restaurant, and you eat their food and it was a great experience. So one of the managers comes up to you and asks you, "Hey, how was the food?" You say, "It was delicious. It was amazing. We loved it. We're gonna, we love eating here." So then he pulls out a card. He gives it to you, and that card is a free dessert or a free lunch special, right? So now that satisfaction of you being there was already fulfilled by you being there. So now we need to get a reason to come back. Because this manager gave you the discount card or the free lunch, now that's going to say, "Hey, I have a reason to come back because I have this discounted lunch special or this free freebie that this manager gave me." So that's called the law of diminishing marginal utility. we have to create a satisfaction because we already got the food, we already had it, so we're good, but we need to know what it will take for us to keep coming back. And that's where the discounts come, that's where the offers come in, that's where the discounted rates and the free draws after the third draw comes in. You see, so we buy one draw, get one free. Those things exist when we're actually creating that specific price point for our business. So that's how creative we need to get for our business when we're pricing our services. Okay. Even like the breakdowns. Remember, I used to show you Sincere, $65 draw fee, shipping and handling, processing, mileage, stat, all that. It matters. And it makes a big difference too when you're trying to pitch to a person.
Yep. All those stuff makes sense, man. I'm glad you uh, know about those laws, know about those strategies. And, I tell people all the time, anybody who really has an interest in becoming a mobile phlebotomist, I tell people my first mentor was Khalil Thomas. I tell them
Ah,
he's the guru of it. Also, I want to give recognition and a shout out to Chris from Light Touch Mobile Phlebotomy. She's in New York, and who has also been a great help and a mentor to me as well. And I'm all about providing value. I'm all about adding value to other people. So that's what it is. I'm thankful and I'm grateful.
yeah, man, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. Thanks, Chris, for mentoring my mentee. We love it. I love when people help out other people, and I love when people get other insights from other people. I just love it because she may be some person that has more information about DNA testing than I don't, or more information about DOT testing than I don't. I don't know every single thing, but I know enough for a person to make that $100,000 mark a year. I know enough for that person to see their first patient. I know enough for a person to get that contract. So I strongly believe that everyone should definitely do due diligence and meet other people to find different types of accountability partners, to find people that you can grow with in the business, other mentors too. I'm so for that. That I have like 4 mentors. So it's just like, the more you learn from different people, the more of a better person you become. Okay. And
Mhm.
I think that's just crucial. That's just so crucial.
Yeah.
Um,
I also want to say to what you just said. Um, I'm not a very religious person, but actually, what you just quoted was a Bible scripture. It was in the book of Proverbs. I don't know the exact scripture, but it's in the book of Proverbs where it says, "Many advisors bring success."
mm,
With that statement that you just made, that's a biblical quote that you just made. So I
Look
just
at that. Look,
think,
look, I'm God. No, that's awesome. I appreciate that. I didn't even realize that was in the Bible. That's awesome. Thanks for pointing that out.
yeah.
All right, I got one more question for you, Sincere. Then I'm gonna let you go, my man. My last question for you is gonna be this one. Um, as a business owner, how did you prioritize tasks and manage your time effectively to ensure the smooth operation of your phlebotomy business?
Oh well, just pretty much planning a week in advance about what the goals are. You find out what's working, you find out what's not working, and the things that are not working, you find out how you can make it work. So it all comes down to time management,
Hmm.
finding out what are the gaps in your business, and coming up with a plan on how you could fill in that gap by strategizing and making a list of things
Hmm.
that needs to get done. So if uh, that you want to receive more DNA clients, or clients that doesn't pertain to phlebotomy, but you have all these other services that you offer, but you're not getting those services provided to these clients. So you pick one category, let's say COVID-19 PCR testing, a service that you offer, but you haven't got a call and for that, and like who knows. So
Hmm.
basically, you find out what's happening in the community. If there's anything new that's going on with COVID, or anything, any variants that's happening with COVID, and then you find out if you have the supply for it. You know exactly what the process is. You um, uh, uh, basically target uh, 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 areas where people may need it. People may need it. You make certain calls to certain people. One time I had the situation where I was lacking in that area where I wasn't getting any COVID patients. So I actually made a few phone calls to people that I know that already are in these nursing home facilities, doctors' offices that need these the service. I'm like, hey, do you guys need any help? What's new with what's going on with these COVID variants? What's the information? What's the latest information that I could read upon? What's developing in terms of COVID? And they'll give me the information on it. They'll probably send me an article, and they'll say there's something. It's slowing down. It's not really too much that's going on. So it's all about information. It's really all about information. So I'm not going to drag too much on at that point about finding out exactly where you're lacking and getting informed about it and trying to figure out how you can improve on it.
Okay. For me, I prioritize in the very beginning from my mistakes. So you will hire the wrong people and realize that they're, not the best. And then you say, hey, I know what I need to do moving forward. I know I need to have patients scheduled at this time. We need to have a window for certain patients because if you don't, they're going to be expecting you to be there at 9:30 when you say 9:30 versus saying between 9 and 9:45 because they will call you and they will be upset. Working with people who are half-assed, and they will sit there and tell you that patients refuse services just so that they cannot do it or refuse, And then when you actually go to the patient's house, you draw their blood, they're completely fine. They were okay. They didn't have that ill will of not being or being refusal or being a refused patient. So it's like who you hire too. Another one for me is, prioritizing my time based on the locations of the patient. So if I'm on Instagram, I do a promotion saying like, hey, I have, anyone need blood work done for a specific disease, and I have someone there and these people contact me, I want to prioritize it by the city, the location, and the time that they actually want to get drawn. So if Bob wants to get done at 7 o'clock, but Elise needs to get done at 9 o'clock, but they live like maybe next door, I'm gonna prioritize it to where I do Bob first, but then I let Elise know like, hey, I'm actually in the neighborhood. Wanted to know if I can get you done and out of the way a little bit more easier since I'm here. Kind of like talking to them, letting them know so it can kind of prioritize my time, or just call them the day before, let them know like, hey, we can switch to times because I'd rather get it done since we're there, versus having me go 50 miles in another direction just to come back an hour and a half later. You know what I mean? So it's like we can prioritize your time by mistakes because you know what to do now, and that'll just make your life easier. And use Healthy, you guys. Healthy is awesome. It's an app or electronic health record system that you guys can use. They give you a free 14-day trial too. You can enter patients' information and schedule them. You can, dispatch your phlebotomist. It's pretty cool. And that's how you can kind of be more organized when it comes down to scheduling your patient appointments. So I think that that's like a really, really important one, especially if you're just starting, because a lot of people are starting with paper and pencil, which is fine. I actually had a composition book where I literally will write down all my patients' information, who needs blood work. This is when I first started. But as we grow, we kind of enhance with our technology, with our dispatching, with our phlebotomist, and then we just grow with our technology. Hey, I don't have to use a book anymore. I can use this app. I can have my phlebotomist dispatch to this location, and it just keeps going, right? So I learned from my mistakes, and that's how I was able to better my time management with my mobile phlebotomy business. Because again, I can be the one running it, but not everyone's going to run it like how I am. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. Yep.
So yeah,
You are the sole controller of the whole business. You are the boss, so you get to make the rules.
yeah,
Yes. And
yeah.
shout out to Extremely Blessed, who actually wrote down the exact scripture of what I was referring to earlier.
Proverbs 15:22.
Yep. Yep. So.
All right, Sincere. Well, this was great. This is an awesome interview. We're going to do it again, maybe in a few weeks, months. We're actually going to be doing a phlebotomy expo too. So I'll actually be asking for an invite from you so that you can actually come on the panel. So we'll see if you can actually make it. I'll let you know the dates and stuff, but we'll be definitely having one pretty soon, just so that we can talk to the people, inspire phlebotomists around the world, so that they can know your story, our story, and how they can become successful within this field.
Yep. Yes, sir. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Here's the link to Healthy if everyone wants it. I don't see the link. We don't see the link. But just go to Healthy, you guys. HEALTHIE, Healthy. Make sure you guys go there. And again, it's free to use for 14 days, just so you can see how it is and get a visual on how it all works. Okay. But yeah, Sincere, this is great. I appreciate you, brother, for being here. This is an amazing show. I'm happy that you're able to, show light on your business, your ups and downs, and how you were able to proceed with your business throughout all the trials and tribulations. And people are going to be inspired by that, man. They're going to be like, hey, I want to be like Sincere. Like, hey, I was in that position. He got over it. And now I want to learn from him, because that's how it works. You grow your business, you inspire others. Now people want to be like you. And now you're going to be the mentor, right? So you got to go through some stuff in order to, grow and be a better person, because no one wants to hear, oh, somebody just made it overnight by doing nothing. No, we want to hear the struggle. We want to hear the downfalls. We want to hear how you overcame certain situations, because that lets another person know that it is possible, that it can be done. You know what I mean? So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I also want to say last before I go, well, thank you for the opportunity for inviting me and allowing me to explain my story about how I was able to build my business, go through my ups and downs and stuff like that. But it's very important. I just want to say lastly to everybody else, just please figure out your numbers, have a good understanding about what your business entails. Make sure you have a profit and loss sheet. Make sure you keep track of those expenses, see how much money is going out, how much money you're bringing in. Always keep a mileage log of how many mileage that you're using as far as travel distance to and fro. And also never stop getting advice from people who could be able to help you. Always find the proper guidance, whether it's doing your own independent research or listening to guys like Khalil, who's been also a mentor of mine. And never stop educating yourself. Never stop educating yourself. And if it's your desire, you will also go further than that. Learn about different tests and know what they entail. If you want to educate yourself about the BNP, the CBCs, the hemoglobin, so you can just educate yourself on that. All those things matter. All those things matter. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, man, that's important. We got to know this stuff. We got to know more than just drawing blood. We got to know the additives. We got to know the orders of draw. We got to know like every single thing. So I appreciate you, Sincere, for being here, and I can't wait to have you back on the show again.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. All right, you guys, we are going to be logging out, and I'll be talking to everyone soon. Have a great day.
Bye.